Hi, friends. This is Unhinged founder with Melinda Jackson. I'm Melinda Jackson, owner of Melinda Jackson Public Relations. I am a 15-year PR veteran, and this is my podcast where I talk shit with people. On today's episode, we have my dear friend Leisha. She's a hairstylist, and she is the founder of the Traveling Hairstylist, which is like just the coolest concept. I'm not even going to try to explain it. I will let her explain it. So let's get into the conversation. All right. Tell everyone your whole life story. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Leisha Thompson, and I am a hairstylist, but I more recently am the founder of the Traveling Hairstylist, which is kind of a brand new company into the beauty industry where we travel all over the states and cover for other stylists who are going on like maternity leaves, medical leaves, just any extended period of time where they need coverage and help with their clients. And so that is what I fully do. I run a small team with it and I still work with inside of it too. So, yeah.
Well, I think what you do is literally the coolest ever. So obviously we met at Lisa's retreat, and I just
Yes.
had Lisa on, so you guys can go back and listen to that. But I know you're a part of her Stylist Soul Tribe. I always say it wrong,
Mhm.
so I have to like practice group. And we met there. And when you were telling me about what you do, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. So immediately go home, tell my hairstylist about it, and she's like,
Mhm.
wait. That is groundbreaking. And she's like, I might have to have a surgery in a couple years. I'm going to keep her in mind. Like,
Call me up. Yeah.
so I'm already out here evangelizing for you in North
Yes.
Carolina,
Oh, love it.
but
Love it.
I think it is truly so groundbreaking. So, like, break it all down because I mean, my listeners probably are not hairstylists, but they get
Yeah.
their hair done. So, tell us the ins and outs of like kind of how it works and why someone like you is so needed.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, just in short, in our beauty industry, we are client-based businesses. So, even if you're like a therapist or things like that, you know how it is, like working off of appointments and with clients. And so even just taking a 2-week vacation can feel like, okay, we gotta like make sure everything is in line, and you might even still have to like take a message or two while you're out on vacation. Like it's just any entrepreneur in a business setting like that, you just know how it is. So it's really similar with stylists, and our entire clientele is um we're entirely clientele based, and it's always been sort of a difficult thing in our industry where, if you're having a maternity leave, or again, you have a surgery or even something unexpected, like you broke your arm, that's very needed to be able to do somebody's hair. It's just kind of one of those things like where it's like, okay, well, you just kind of hope that everybody comes back to you. Like there's not really a lot of strategies. There's literally zero resources in our industry. And we've been in industry around for a very long time, and statistically, still even today, we are 86% women still based in the industry. So maternity leaves alone are very common. And I've talked with so many stylists who they go on a leave and maybe how they thought they were going to plan it didn't go to plan because they were late, they were early, they had complications at the end of it. Or people kind of plan for, whether they're going to be out for a surgery or whatnot. And they aren't able to retain a lot of their clientele. So when they come back, they feel like they're almost starting over in their business. And for people who have worked so hard to grow their business and grow their clientele for 10, 15 years, and then you have something happen that, again, whether it's planned or not planned, that can almost just come in and bulldoze that hard work that you've done. It's so disheartening. And it can just be really physically and mentally hard trying to kind of like bounce right back into a setting like that. So that is truly like the purpose of what this all is kind of filling a need that, like I said, has zero resources for. There is like, this is probably one thing that's really cool to be able to say about what I do is there's nobody like us out there, like truly. We're like pioneering this whole new kind of route in the industry, which is really, really cool to be able to be a part of that. But yeah, we're truly filling a need that hasn't had any like actual resources or tools or things to kind of help so that stylists can be able to take a leave and know that their clients are taken care of in a way where we're not trying to take their clients. We're really trying to actually just retain their clients. We're maintaining their business. We cover 100% of like their booth rent if they're in a suite or a chair or things like that. And we're also just supporting the stylist, which again, just for any entrepreneur, that's so huge to have somebody to just be there to truly help you and maintain your business in the process. So yeah, that's our whole mission.
Yeah, I think it's so groundbreaking and awesome. And one thing I later figured out is, you guys are making the money. The stylist isn't necessarily making the money
Yeah.
while they're on leave, but you are keeping their book of business so they
Yes.
can jump right back in whenever they need.
Yeah.
And I know stylists generally, after talking to my hairstylist about all of this, like,
Mhm.
they generally plan if they're going to be out, they'll try to like,
Yes.
pack their schedule, get all that money
Mhm.
in because they know they're not going to have that money. So some of these stylists might do that, but then it's an added bonus for you to come in and to facilitate some of this stuff for them while they're out for however long.
Yeah. Yeah, the value is really, yeah, in that retention process, and we really have been able to kinda hit a 99% retention rate for stylists upon their return, which is huge. That's
Yeah.
so huge. And again, there's just so many variables that can happen, again, whether it's surgery or, a baby coming or whatever, that it's just so nice to have flexibility to where if you are planning to pack a lot of clients in those last few weeks, and again, what if you're 4 weeks early? That
Hmm.
last month, what happens, And so that's just again like the place where it's so nice to just be able to have sort of this like backup method, but a backup method that is really there to again support you, retain your business, and just that's such a value in itself. And we've really kind of been finding that in like I said, we're newer. So it's 3 years now that we've been doing this. And it's been, like it speaks for itself, truly, what we're doing.
Yeah. And my favorite part is that you get to travel. So tell us
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit about like what that's looked like for you, or maybe like some of the places that some of your team has gotten to go.
Mhm.
Just explain all that.
Yeah. And I mean, even upon like before starting this, I feel like this is something a lot of people like probably have very similar thoughts on where it's like you're trying to find what people aren't doing to kind of like fill the need, which is so hard to do. And I really got to this point because like I was at a really like great business I was very proud of, just stylist business. But I still was like, no, I just feel like there's something else I'm supposed to be doing. But everybody's has done everything. There's nothing new. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just kind of get into that space where it's like, okay, but where is the gap that
Hmm.
I can't seem to, like it's not clear to me. So, I took a lot of time really trying to figure what that was out for me. And it's funny because it really kind of boils down to like, okay, what are two things that I love? Hair and traveling. And I was like, how can I make that be a thing where I can travel while making an income and doing hair? And I didn't really want to do the cruise ship thing. Like there's a few ways you can do
Yeah.
it, but I'm not trying to build clienteles in different states and like be on a cruise ship. I don't know, but none of that really appealed to me. And so this idea had started to come into fruition finally. And I was like, wait a second. There is really not a lot of resources for people who go on a leave. And this happens all the time. Like I had my own friends and coworkers that I've watched with this. And I was like, how cool would it be if I could just like travel to them, kind of live in that area for a few months, and then be able to make their income in their space and get to meet a lot of different people and just like do my thing. And that's really where this kind of all started. And when I started it too, it also was something like nobody knew who I was or what I was doing. So that was kind of the tough part. So I probably went a little, I don't know, extreme with how I started it maybe. I didn't like dip my toe in it. I went like full in. Like I just leaped off the cliff and dove fully in. So I'm married, my husband and we've got 2 dogs and a cat. And my entire crew travels with me everywhere I go. My husband works for Amazon, so that's kind of makes that possible. Um, so we had our house in Ohio, that's where I'm from originally, and we decided that we weren't going to sell it. We'll like keep it as a property, like a rental property or something, but we moved out of it. We moved into an RV that we kind of slightly renovated, we actually don't have skills in that, so it really wasn't that great, but it was fine. So you get inspired with all those like YouTube videos and stuff. You're like,
No,
oh, I can
look,
do
we
anything.
want we want a camper and we're on YouTube all day like,
Yeah.
okay, if we got one, what can we do? How can we make it
Oh my
cool? And
gosh.
it's like
I
by the
know.
end of it, it's like, what is this even?
Yeah, I know. I mean, we were like gutting things out. And I'm like, oh God, we had to like actually put something like, wow, I don't know. Anyways, that's a whole story in itself. But so we moved into the RV and we just picked a place. So we picked Phoenix, Arizona to start with. It was the winter, so it made sense. And I was like, okay, let's just start here and then I will figure out a salon that I can work in. And that's literally how I started. I didn't have any like leads. I didn't, you know, I just decided, I'm like, okay, I've never spent time in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's go there for the winter. It makes sense with the RV, and I'll just figure it out as we go. And so it took a while to find that first salon. Obviously, because again, nobody knows what I am. And I had lots of people that looked at me weird, that didn't respond to my messages, that were like, who are you and why are you
I
here?
feel
Kind of
like they would
thing.
probably be like, "Oh, you're trying to steal all my clients." So that's
Yeah,
what you're
it
doing.
definitely, yeah. It took a while to finally get somebody to like have just even a conversation with me. And they happened to have a stylist who was about to go on maternity leave, but they also get a lot of like tourism clients in the winter. So she's like, honestly, I could use your help like ASAP, if you could come in. And from there, that just gave me the starting point to really be able to like share what I was doing and know that it was possible, first off, because I did kind of go into it being like, well, maybe there's a reason this isn't a thing. I don't know. But and then from there, it was kind of like able to connect with people in different parts of the country, to where now I have people who actually put in a request for our services. And that is kind of dictates where like me or the team goes now. So it's just kind of cool because we truly get requests from West Coast, Midwest, East Coast. We finally just got our first New England state one, which is exciting. So we're literally hitting like all corners of the states now, so it's really cool to, yeah, be able
I
to
love it. And I know you were
experience that.
stuck in North Carolina for a little bit in like
I
random
was, yeah.
spots. If
Yeah.
only we would have been friends then. We could
Uh-huh.
have hung out all the time.
I know.
No, I love it. And like travel is also such a huge thing for me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I started my company so I could work for myself so I could do whatever I
Mhm.
wanted and travel.
Mhm.
But now I'm like, okay, how can I be more intentional about this? Like I feel like I could
Yeah.
learn something from you on that. But no, I think what you're doing is so great and it's such a just good resource at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
like I hope people can see it not as a competition, but like just a support. You know, you're
Mhm.
coming in, you are making sure their business stays exactly how they want it to stay.
Yeah.
During the process of it, you might learn something about some of their clients and being like, hey, girl, this person sucks. Like, you don't need them. Or like, I tried this thing on this person. They really liked it. Maybe switch it up, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but I see it as nothing but a resource for
Yeah.
and a benefit for these stylists.
One thing too that I think is like I didn't expect as much, but also makes perfect sense is how much the clients are like I can't even tell you how many times clients have told me that I'm like covering for during their leave, how grateful and how cool it is that this exists because it truly is benefiting them at the end of the day. They love that they get to come to the same place that they're already know and comfortable with. They love that they get to kind of keep on their regular schedule and they love that they get to kind of like meet somebody new, which sometimes it's like you have fresh perspective. Not that, again, we're not like taking them, but it's kind of like working together with your regular stylist to maybe be like, oh, here's a whole new idea that might be helping you with things. So the clients themselves like love this and are so grateful to be able to have this because at the end of the day, it's truly serving them too. So that's
Yeah.
kind of cool. It's like making a lot of connections all over the country. I feel like that I have. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's just going to ripple from there because they're going to
Yeah.
say, oh my God, Leisha covered me for my maternity leave. Like, you need her. You need to get toe
Exactly, yeah.
surgery. Like, call her up,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, what does the pass off look like? Because I know my hairstylist, she keeps everyone's notes in her contacts. So I'm like, how would someone like that even pass that off to you guys so you know what color to use on them or like
Mhm.
how they like their hair?
Mhm. So a lot of stylists use like a booking software, which is really easy to just be like be integrated in, and we can get to kind of like see all of their the notes between us and the stylist, their formulas, any extra little things that the stylist wants to add in there. It's kind of like an easy way that we can indirectly communicate with each other. And then if there are people who do like paper books or like I said, you like contacts and whatnot, there can still be ways to kind of send like, like the CSV files or kind of like
Yeah.
upload things in a way where it might have to be a little bit of a paper track or like a Google Doc or something. So it might just be a different process, but there's so many ways to do like pull something from anything at this point that makes that possible. And yeah, so I wouldn't see how that wouldn't be able to work still too, which
Yeah.
is good.
Okay. What is, and it may take you a second to think about this, but what is like just the weirdest, like, slash funniest thing that's happened to you in the career of being a stylist? Like, I know you probably have to have some like really weird, wild stories.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I mean, I don't know if you're talking about directly like being behind the chair with people or more so like just since I've started this business. Because since I've started this business, traveling and living in an RV and all the things, there's always shenanigans just
Yeah.
happening where you're like, this is just life. I don't know. We're stuck on the top of a mountain or like we're in a windstorm. You know what I mean? Like there's just always
Yeah.
things. But I mean, as far as behind the chair, I've never had, like, any, like, really obscure moments that, come to mind. I've had some, like, weird moments where just, like, men being weird, that's kind
Yeah.
of a thing that happens sometimes, but truly, I don't know. I don't know what it is, if it's something about just, like, who you attract or kinda how that is, but, I really feel like I've come across such great people in the industry, and especially getting to travel to different areas. It's actually so fascinating to talk to people who live in all these different sites because I don't know, like, because we're all part of the States, you kinda just assume we all, like, have very different ways that we do things. Like California to New York is so different. But it's funny like how there's little things, but at the end of the day, I'm like, gosh, we're all so similar at the same time.
Yeah.
Like we're
Everyone is
all
the
like
same.
like
Yeah,
these same kind
everybody's
of
going through the same
struggles and
stuff.
yeah, yeah. So I think that is just what is the most fascinating actually is really realizing how like connected we really are, even from coast to coast, how similar things can be. Um, but I think too, just like because with this business I'm doing, I share a lot about it because clients are kind of interested and like to know. And I think something that's been surprising is actually how many people I've come across who have they work in like tech or they run a company or a team. And how many of them have been like, I would love to just like help support you on this. Like we can like
I
meet
love
together if like you
that.
need advice on this or if you ever need like something built out. Like I think that has been such a thing that's been so cool to have. Like, again, I feel like I have all these, like, little connections, but yeah, I don't know. I know that was, like, not even the direction you were asking
No,
me at
no, but
all,
it was
but,
still so good.
I know because
I
those
just
things kind of come more to mind than, like, the obscure
Yeah.
ones. Because
Well,
there's
hey,
always
well, that's good. And
obscure
I
people, I
also
guess.
think like yeah, well, I think that you're so chill. Like you're not going to attract the weirdos. I feel like I just somehow always get the weirdos with stuff and
Yeah.
but like that's also just my life and I think the
Oh,
Lord
yeah.
just sends me weird shit so I can talk about it,
Mhm.
put it on the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
Um but no, I think kind of what you were saying, like people wanting to help, that's what
Uh-huh.
happens when you're doing something from a place of wanting to support other people. Other
Yeah.
people are going to support you when your intentions are good. You're not doing this to get rich and like rip off a
Mhm.
bunch of people. You're
Yeah.
doing this because you saw a problem and you want to help people,
Mhm.
and travel.
Mhm.
Like it's
Yeah.
like great. If you make $1 million, you make $1 million, but regardless, your boxes are checked, you get to
Yeah.
do these things that you love.
Yeah. And I think it just also kind of shows like I know in the beginning when I first had this idea and like after the first year, I could really see like a future with it. And I had a she kind of does some of my like CPA and legal work and stuff. And she was like, okay, she's like, be careful about like how much you're talking to people about this and the ins and outs of it and like the trademarking and kind of all that stuff, which I totally understand. Like I know where she's coming from with that. But I really feel like when you're on kind of a new idea or new business or new thing, having support and just like talking to people about what you're doing really is so important because you never know who you might meet that can literally help you launch your business into another level that you would have never even expected. Or just even give you an idea that maybe like you've been stumped on for so long. And it's like, oh, that's a really interesting perspective on that. So it's like having support, even if you're like I'm still kind of a one woman show, honestly, running this whole thing, which is can be a lot sometimes. But I really do lean into so many different pockets of people that I've had or like continue to add in for things because it's so important. And even though this is like this whatever pioneering idea, I'm like it's not like someday there's going to be another version of what I'm doing. It's just what's
Exactly.
going to happen. But I'm building that foundation no matter what and doing it in the way that I think feels right no matter what, and whatever comes later on is going to come. So I think
Yeah.
it's just yeah, I don't know, just leaning into that too is you just realize how important that is.
Yeah, I love that. And like, let people copy you. Who cares? But like, you're doing it first. You're the one figuring it out, like, I don't know. I think I would get annoyed if people copied me, but I'm also not doing anything that's groundbreaking. I'm doing stuff that people have done for
Yeah,
hundreds of
yeah.
years, Since the invention of the media, I'm doing the same shit that everyone's been doing this whole time.
Yeah.
So it's, whatever. But no,
Mhm.
I think what you're doing, and I know I keep saying this and I don't care. I think what you're doing is literally so cool. And I think you are just the sweetest person on the planet. And obviously, I'm here
Yes.
to help you in any way I can. And like, I always have ideas, you know that. Um,
Mhm.
even if they're scary or whatever. I love
Mhm.
giving people unsolicited advice. Um, so yeah, that's that's me. Where is like one place that's like bucket list, like you swear to God you hope that you get a job there so you have an excuse to live there for like a month?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so I've been to all 50 states. It was my goal to hit all 50 by 30, and so I was really proud to accomplish that even before I started this business. But for me, I have this sort of like dream visual part of I'm like, I am gonna know that I hit like this peak level when I get a contract that takes me to Spain. So that's like really big picture. And eventually
Oh,
I would love to be able to like bring this more internationally. Right now it is very like just states based. But I think there's definitely a path, down the road that I can kind of expand, and so I don't know why Spain, but it's just like it just has come to me, I'm like, "No, I'm gonna, like,
because
work in
it's
Spain for 3 months."
beautiful.
I know,
The food
I
is
know.
good. The wine is like $5 a bottle.
Yeah, yeah. So that's definitely, like something about that is just one moment I'm gonna get to that, and that's gonna feel like a really, like, proud kinda level for me, and just such
Yeah.
a cool place to be because 'cause I've never been to Spain, but
Yeah.
there's too many. I mean, I literally there's not many places I wouldn't wanna go to, but Spain is definitely top of my list. I've really been wanting to go back and spend more time in the New England states, so it's kind of exciting. We just got like a Boston contract, but it's just been a while, so I always love going there. I'm a mountain person, so anytime I get to be near mountains, that always makes me very happy. And then again, just to speak more to like internationally, I'd also would love to go to like any of the Baltic countries too. That would be really
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
I would
those are
freeze to death,
a
but
few.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, what would it look like doing hair in another country? Like, do you have to
hmm
get a certification there? Like, where would you even
Yeah,
source things?
it's really different, and I don't even know all the ins and outs of it yet, but the States actually has a much higher, like, more intense kind of form of licensing, and we also like, what's also interesting with the States is you every state has its own board and licensing. So, like, even for me, like, to work in California to North Carolina to Arizona, I have to get licensed in each one of those states. Now, because I've
Oh
been
my
in the
God.
industry for 14 years now. There's reciprocity and endorsement and things like that that definitely make it a smoother process. But it's really different in a lot of other countries where a lot of them don't actually even have like boards, even or very different certifications.
That freaks me out.
Yeah, it's just different. It's very different. And again, every country has maybe a little bit of a different way that they go about it. So yeah, I think for now, my first expansion would probably be more into, like, Canada, like, start
Yeah.
small, go North America because there's just a lot to
America North.
I know, there's just a lot to learn about how all of that would work legality-wise, tax-wise, working permit-wise, and then even, like, cosmetology or hairstylist-wise, so That's a future Leisha project.
You can manifest it. It's okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
are you just like sitting there in your free time and like, okay, I got to get licensed in this state and this state and this state? Or are you just doing it as you get a job there?
Usually I do this for my team too. We will get the licensing as we get the request. Because it's just a lot to be trying to do
Yeah.
like 50 different licensing
My
things.
God, I can just see like all the certificates on your wall at
Oh
home.
my
Because I know in
gosh.
North Carolina they give you like the little guy, and it's
Yeah,
like you just have them
yeah.
everywhere.
Well, and then there's like renewals. So like my calendar,
Yeah.
I'd have to put in like, okay, this needs renewed here, this needs renewed here. And like September, or no, it's October is like a big renewal month. And then also January is a huge renewal month. And it literally, I feel like I'm just like sitting on the laptop. I'm like, okay, Colorado, Ohio. Like it's just,
My
so that is one
God.
thing that is a little bit of an annoying process. That is like the one thing I would say. And there is talks of making a national cosmetology license, but it probably will still be like a good 5 to 6 years before that
Yeah.
actually goes into place. But when that happens, it'll be like a godsend for for the
Yeah,
traveling
I feel like
hairstylist.
yeah, that's needed, especially just the way people move around
Yeah,
now and like
I
cost of
know.
living and
Yeah,
everything else.
exactly. So it's been in the talks a lot, and legislation is starting to kind of like put some things around that. So we'll see. But for now, yeah, it's a whole thing, and
Oh my
I just
God.
usually wait until we have a request come with that particular state. So,
And what is like the hardest state? Like which state is probably the most strict? I would say l- like to me it feels like California. Only cuz I used to live there and
mm,
everything is more strict there.
yeah.
But who's the most strict state?
Okay, surprisingly, California was not bad at all. The only thing California is weird about is you have to actually pick your license up in person, which eventually you're coming here anyways, but that was the only thing where I'm like, okay, why can't you just email it to me? But
Yeah.
they actually were not a bad state at all to get it through. I think the one that is the weirdest is Florida, which just feels like a very Florida
That
thing,
checks
but
out. That checks
yeah,
out. Yep,
yeah.
you have to have years and years and years of school to do old ladies' hair.
Well, and the thing that is different with Florida is they require an additional certification for like HIV, which is interesting because I'm like, you can't just like see somebody. I don't know. It
How
like
would
doesn't
you
I
know?
know. I'm like, it doesn't make full sense to me.
Giving
But
everyone
yeah.
a blood test that you cut their hair.
Yeah, yeah. So in order for me to work in Florida, I can easily transfer my license, but I have to. It is absolutely required. There's no way around it. I have to take a written HIV like certification thing. It's kind of interesting. So,
All the things, Florida. Out of
yeah.
all the things that is
I
wrong with
know.
your state, this
I
is
know.
what you're gonna die on. Okay.
I would
Okay.
say Florida for sure because that's just weird. I don't get it.
Well,
But and no,
that
literally
checks out.
no other state does that. None.
I'm
So,
sure.
yeah. So they're the
Of course.
unicorn.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What I always am amazed by is like hairstylists when you go to school, you have to learn like chemistry and like
Yeah. Yeah.
biology and all this stuff. Like I think people just think, "Oh, they're just going to the community college and they're learning how to cut hair or whatever."
Mhm.
No, like you have to learn so much science that
Yeah,
that's why I could
yeah.
never do it. I can't do science. No.
Mhm. Mhm. I know it's funny too, because like so many stylists, like I feel like we would just have like it's like this joke thing where it's like we're not always good at math, but we are literally measuring formulas just in
All
our
day
head off
every
the
day.
bat. But like when it comes to like just seeing like a simple multiplication formula, you kind of like pause for a second. I'm like, no, I literally was just measuring fractions in my head of like two colors here. Like, what am I like? Come on, I should, it's just kind of funny
Exactly.
how
Like
much
if you
goes
ever
into
watch a
that.
hairstylist mix color, it's like you're a
Mhm.
mad scientist. It's like, okay,
It is, I
this
know, it's
little
kinda
tube,
cool,
and
yeah.
it's color theory,
So much color theory, yeah.
biology, so much
Yeah.
stuff.
It's
Oh
cool
my
though,
God,
yeah. It's a little
I
bit of
love it.
everything, I don't think people always realize that, but yeah, it's kinda cool.
What other like misconceptions do you think normal folks have about stylists?
Think that and this just because this speaks to me, I think a lot of people think that hairstylists are just the most, like, talkative people, like, if you're outgoing, then you go into cosmetology, which is very important, but I've actually always been someone who is not very outgoing, but it's funny how, like, I always consider myself a little bit more, like, shy or introverted, but going into cosmetology and being a stylist brings out a whole different part of me that I'm like, "I don't know where that came from," and something about this trade really like kind of brought a lot of like almost like confidence to myself too. So I think we're not all naturally like that. Like I am definitely a person that sometimes needs to drive home in silence to refuel all the conversations that I've had and the people that I come across, like cuz that's just there's that little bit of that introverted self in me. That's how I need to refuel, and I don't mind alone time. But yeah, not every stylist is like the most outgoing, wants to be around people all the time. Like that's, for some, yeah. And then I think too, just even like our industry's changing, has really changed and has continued to change a lot in the sense of like we really are so much more than just like a hobby. Like this is so much more than a hobby. And I think for a very, very, very long time, that's how people kind of saw it. Like it was a side trade. It's just for fun. It's a hobby. But like we do some really cool shit in the industry. And
Yeah.
like it's so cool just to see the ideas people come up with and like how we've really been able to like make our careers into just these amazing businesses of pouring back into people and like building teams and educators, and there's so many avenues now in our industry that people can do, and I'm like people are smart, that like hairstylists are smart and we are creative. And I think if anybody still has that sort of misconception of like, oh, we're just a hobbyist or whatever, I'm like, no, like we are so much more than that and we can run a business. And it's just, yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest kind of things that I would say is so different than what it used to be.
Yeah. Like, even though my parents are entrepreneurs, I learned how to, save my money for my taxes or whatever from my hairstylist because I was getting ready to start my
Yeah.
company. And she's like, "Oh, well, this is what I do." And I'm like, "Okay,
Uh-huh.
girl, like save this
Yeah.
much every month to put towards your taxes, your quarterly taxes. So then
Uh-huh.
when it's quarterly tax time, you're not like, holy shit, I don't have any money, you know?"
Yeah.
And like, do I always do that? No, but I think about it every time I pay my quarterly taxes. I'm like, Whitney
Yeah.
knows what Whitney's not having this issue, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, it like hairstylists, they're therapists, they're
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, they're
Yes.
artists, they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're everything else.
Mhm.
And I think people need to recognize that it's so
Yeah.
much more than this person that you see once a month, once every 2 months.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we pick up things from people all the time, and I mean, even just people's stories or their backgrounds or like their careers, like what they share with us. I mean, I feel like I like know so much about such random things, like paper companies to lawyers to like it's funny. But like in the grand scheme of things, it's like all of that one day, like there's gonna be something that comes into play and it's gonna be like, oh, it's because of that one client, Brian, who worked at the paper company. Like I like knew, you know what I
Yep.
mean? Like it's just yeah, you really build and learn so much from people in your chair, but it also kind of teaches us on how to really communicate with people and pour into people as well. Like you said, like even just in a therapist way. And so I think that's why for a lot of people, like getting your hair done is not just about getting your hair done. Like it's sometimes for a lot of people, it's the only time that they can get away from their like demanding jobs or their kids or their husband and just have like their time, and that is so important for people, and so it really is so much more than just, going to a hair appointment for a lot.
Yeah. So, like, I know you have to decompress at the end of the day. What do you
Mhm.
like to do besides ride home in silence after being an extrovert all day? Or like, people will trauma dump. I know a
Yeah.
lot of my stylist friends are like, this person told me the craziest story and I can't tell anybody, but I'm going to tell you because no one knows you,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, what do you do in those situations and like at the end of the day?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I I love being around my dogs and my husband, they're truly, like, all my best friends, so that is, like, such a, like, refueling time for me, walking with my dogs, um, hanging out with my husband, but I'm also, like I do, like, kinda some silly reality shows, like, I'm watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives right now, I
Let's
can't
go.
help
I
myself,
binged
like,
it this weekend. I
oh
have
gosh,
thoughts.
I just started. So, like, some of I do need some of that to just really, like, take me away from things, but I love being again, I'm a mountain person, I love, like, hiking, I love going to, like, local live music and local coffee shops and just exploring, like, sometimes I don't even really need an agenda, like, just being out somewhere that kind of, that's such a good way for me to, like, just decompress and, like, enjoy things and just, again, being really present too with things also. So yeah, yeah, that's kind of like my it's really simple, but that's really kind of my like go-tos, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's really all I have for you. I feel it's hard for me to interview people that I know, which everyone I've interviewed I know, and so it's like hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I can't ask you a bunch of questions. But anyway, tell
Mm-hmm.
everyone where they can find you, especially if they're a stylist and they're like, "Oh my God, I need Leisha." Like, tell us all the things.
Mm-hmm. Well, really quick, this just came into my head. This is gonna be like really random, but when you were asking
It's
me
fine.
about the obscure client story, I totally forgot. I did have a client for a few years, and I can't say anything like I don't know, but
Yeah.
she was the wife of a biker gang. And I'm not even gonna like go too deep into the stories, but she would tell me really crazy shit. I'm like, oh my God, Sons of Anarchy's real.
Oh my God, it is real. It is
So yeah,
real.
yeah. I was like, I totally forgot about her as it just
And
like
you
came
were
to
like,
me.
I'm just a little girl. I don't need to know
Yeah, it's
this.
like, oh, this is intense. Like I felt like I was like, man, I should never say her name to anybody just in
My
case
God,
something
they're
came.
gonna
That's
show
crazy.
up
But
and
yeah, that
slash your tires.
to go back a little bit, yeah, I did have a wife of a biker gang client who was amazing. I loved her. And I mean, she definitely delivered with stories, but yeah, it's really crazy, some of those. But anyways, where you can find me though, is I am on Instagram. I'm pretty active with there. So it is the traveling dot hairstylists, and that's with an S. But we have our website, the travelinghairstylist.com. And then I do have like a Facebook page, but honestly, it's the same name. I'm really more active on like Instagram. That's where I kind of hang out more and like the DMs and like on stories and things like that. So that's probably one of the best places to kind of find what we're doing and all the things. So yeah.
Yay. And if a stylist is listening and they're like, I need to pop out a baby in 3 months, what's the process? Like, when should they get
Yeah.
that rolling with you?
Yeah, so if you go to the website, you can learn a little bit more there, but there is a form and it's basically like an inquiry form. And it just tells us a little bit of information about like, what your leave is for, your timing, where you're located, things like that. And then from there, I do a like consultation call with every single one of those inquiries because I know like a lot of people, like it's kind of funny. One of the most common things I get right now is like, is this real? And I think it's just because it's like not common,
Yeah.
and we're new. And so, if you are, if you have those kind of thoughts come up or you're like unsure about how all this process works, this is why I do a call with every single person. And I go over like bird's eye view of how it works from the very beginning to the very end, what you can expect from us, what we provide, what we do, how it works. And then also it's again, just another chance for me to kind of learn a little bit more about like your specific kind of businesses, your clientele, your services, because we want to make sure that it is a good fit for everybody involved and that you feel like you have the best pairing of the stylist that would be covering with you on that. So from that consultation call, it's like you can do that and be like, oh, maybe this isn't the best thing for me. Or you could come off of that and be like, okay, this is exactly what I need. So I like doing that because it's just kind of like it's not a commitment. Like this is just a way for us to like really learn the process and share how it would look in your specific business. So from there, then we kind of move forward into the process. So that's kind of how it all starts is just with filling out an inquiry form and then we just chat about it. And yeah.
Hopefully lock it down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's a win-win
totally.
for everyone. Well,
Absolutely.
cool. Well, Leisha, I love you so much. Thank you for coming
Thank you.
on. I know you don't go on podcasts a lot, so thank you for trusting me and coming on here. And we'll talk to you soon, girlfriend.
Yeah. Appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. How fun was that conversation? Don't you just want to go to a retreat now? I mean, I know I said it a million times in there, but I have to go to a retreat now. I'm gonna look at my calendar. This is gonna be on the internet, so you guys have to hold me accountable. I'm gonna look at my calendar. I'm gonna figure out a way so I can go to a retreat and reconnect with myself and recharge and be really woo-woo, hopefully. But I don't know if I could do a silent retreat. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll do it for science. Who knows? But thank you guys for listening. Please go and pre-order her book or order her book if it's already out by the time this comes out. And like, let's support other amazing female founders, especially in the Raleigh area. So thanks for listening and we'll see you next time. Like and subscribe to my podcast. It's Unhinged. Dun, dun, dun.